Alright, finals match 1, let's introduce the teams. First up we have Speedrun, the #1 ranked robot from OC Maker Faire. This robot is built entirely out of Vex parts, and as you can see, the Vex structure just is not able to handle the impacts in this game. That plate in the front is not supposed to be concave. It's technically not actually legal to control the ball with a concave surface, but this was allowed to continue because it was determined it didn't really have much effect on the gameplay. Next up on the Red Alliance, we have Barely Functional Robotics. Their robot has a puncher flywheel mechanism and a blocker that pivots and swings over the top. They actually started out the day with Mecanum drive, but they swapped those Mecanum wheels out for grip wheels because they found that they needed the extra traction more than they needed to use the holonomic drive. On the Blue Alliance, we have the #2 seeded robot, Impact. And it was actually quite surprising that Impact wasn't ranked first seed. Everyone kind of expected them to going into this. They're the champions from Gundo Underground competition, and both Impact and Speedrun were undefeated, but Speedrun had more cumulative points in all of their matches. But I will say that Impact didn't seem to be trying to score all that many points. They were definitely playing it safe in their qualification matches. And this is just a beautiful robot. Has the double flywheel arms. They're able to dribble the ball with those arms, really control the match with their swerve drive. And then their alliance partner on Blue is Team High Tide. This is one of the best first robotics programs in the world. They won the World Championships in 2023, and their robot features a belt that goes all the way around the outside. It wasn't functional for these elimination matches. They had some issues with the motor, the brushless motor on that didn't have a sensor on it. So they're effectively a push bot, but this robot does have a lot of traction and super powerful drive base. So they're quite good at playing defense and pushing. Okay, so the ball drops here off the side of the field. Speedrun is very good at timing the drops, and unfortunately some of the action in this bottom corner is off the screen. Speedrun plays this perfectly at the beginning, getting back to play defense. You can see this comes in clutch here when Impact isn't able to score, and actually Speedrun saves the goal here a few different times. They just did a reverse maneuver. You can see the flywheel puncher on Barely Functional. There's another save and another save from Speedrun, and they're pushing the ball down the field. The flywheel's on Impact, sending it over the top. And this is kind of a game of 2 push bots and a game of 2 flywheels right now. Barely Functional pushed too hard there and couldn't make it back in time for the first goal. And also their blocker mechanism, we'll see, doesn't actuate very quickly. Speedrun misses it on the first one. Barely Functional has an opening there. And when you get in the corners here, you'll see there's quite a bit of strategy actually that happens in the corner. The camera angle here doesn't show it that well. We'll definitely work on improving that for the next events. But right here, Impact uses their double flywheel mechanism to kind of pop the ball up on top of them. And it's very good at putting a lot of spin on the ball so that when it hits the ground, it goes flying towards the opponent's goal. So yeah, watch over here. There's their flywheel mechanism spinning it up. They get a little bit of space. Another save by Speedrun, but couldn't get it back in time. And I think that's going to be the big weakness here of the Red Alliance is both robots are having to push the ball very aggressively, and I think actually it would have worked out better for them if they had one robot sitting back playing goalie more. And again, Speedrun times that drop perfectly. That was a quick goal by the Red Alliance. This was a miss by the Red Alliance. Speedrun mistimed it a little bit, and Barely Functional just didn't sit back enough. But I think they're having to push so aggressively just because there's a massive drive power difference between these two alliances. The Blue Alliance definitely has way more drive power. Both red robots at certain points having to kind of combine their drivetrain power just to overpower one of the blue robots. Both red robots form a train to overpower Impact. They actually are able to. High Tide with a near miss at that goal. High Tide actually blocked a goal there, but Impact was right there to clean it up. Yeah, now the Blue Alliance is ahead by 3 points. Red Alliance has to pull something spectacular out here. Blue Alliance is happy to just make it a pushing battle and run out time here in the corner. And you can see right here, seems reasonable, sorry. You can see right here, Barely Functional Robotics using their flywheel puncher mechanism to try to knock the ball loose. So these flywheels are very useful for freeing up the ball when you're kind of locked up in the corners and on the sides of the field. So that was a decisive win for the Blue Alliance. But I will say that given how underpowered the Red Alliance drivetrains were relative to the Blue Alliance, they still played really good match. It was close for about the first half, and Speedrun had some really good saves at the beginning. Barely Functional was winning a lot of the interactions with the flywheels. They were actually getting, I think, better bounces and better ball control, but they were just out of position on the field because they had to play so aggressively up on the field. They left their goal exposed for Impact to kind of sweep in some of the easier goals.